Welcome, everybody. This is our weekend spotlight for the Connected Spirit, Connected Biz gift event this year. And today I have the pleasure of having Santou Carter with me today, who is does amazing work around grief and trauma and all the things that most people don't want to. I know at least I don't want to, I wouldn't want to deal with because I'd be crying right along with everybody. But so welcome. Thanks for hopping on the call and
Thank you.
spending some time with us. So for those that don't know you, tell us a little bit about how you got started in your work and what that is.
Sure, thanks. Um, so I've always worked with vulnerable people, and that really is the essence of where my passion lies. It's working with vulnerable people. So it started with children, and then I moved to working with the elderly and the dying. And now I work with the broad range of every age, really. And that suits me because I really do like variety, and I like working with different groups of people because they all bring something different and they all have different needs. And yeah, so I started off working as a youth worker, and then went on to being a priest, and then I moved into being a psychotherapist so I can work more deeply with people to really kind of strengthen them um, in a variety of ways. I found myself quite limited in what I could offer as a priest, believe it or not. Um,
Well, I
so
can see that. Yeah.
yeah. So I could offer prayers, but with psychotherapy, I can ask pointed questions. I can support them using the arts. So I'm a trained singer, so I will sometimes use music in my work. So for the dying, for example, I've sung to dying patients in hospitals, and the difference it has made is quite dramatic. So yeah, I'll find different ways encouraging people to journal or write because I'm a writer as well. So yeah, I use my own kind of artistic skills and abilities to empower the vulnerable to get reacquainted with lost passions, or to explore and adventure into new skills and new passions that they might develop to build their resiliency. So that really is, I think, where my passion lies, is to guide people into resiliency so they can really connect with themselves, to be able to connect with others, especially with trauma. Sometimes you don't want to connect with others when you're traumatized. You just want to withdraw.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I draw people out. And I see them for who they are and for the beauty that they are, and the potential that they have inside that they don't even see themselves.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I do. I draw people out so they can really connect with life fully.
And that's so powerful, and it's so needed when you're in that spot. And it's I haven't had any major traumas, but we all have our hard times, and I
Mhm.
can relate to that tendency of like, just leave, I don't want to talk to anybody, I don't want to see anybody, just leave me alone, and that's not the best way to move through it. So that is
Yeah.
just wonderful work. Um, so you've kind of, you've told us basically about what you do, and at this point, you've got more of a broader range of people. Is there really who comes to you mostly? I mean, what would be kind of like your main group of people that you're serving at this point in with your business? Mostly, probably there's so many, just having gone through, now that we're on the other side of the pandemic, there's a whole lot of people needing help right now, I think.
Yeah.
And
Um,
just the climate
so
these days.
Yeah, so although I work with people who are divorced and families as well, um, people who might have experienced narcissistic abuse and have
Yeah.
left their marriages, for those years, I do work with that, but predominantly I work with the dying and the bereaved, people grieving a death. So my training is in working with families. So although I do work with individuals, I'm also working with families. And, I had a client whose sister is dying of MND. My specialism is in cancer, terminal illnesses from cancer, but there's other terminal illnesses that people have. So I've worked with, a variety of illnesses. Yeah, so people who are um, experiencing what's called anticipatory grief, they're anticipating the death of someone. So I've got a client whose father has dementia and, has been told by the doctor, your time is limited. So I'm helping him to kind of prepare for that. And although people don't think about preparing for death, it's actually a really important task that we have in life, not only as the individual, but as the
Mhm.
family as well. There's a lot of things that need to be done for preparation, but people don't, they put it off for various reasons. And
Right,
sometimes it's because the person with the terminal illness doesn't want to talk about it, right?
right,
Even when
right.
the children want to talk about the adult children, I mean, want to talk about it, the parents go, I don't want to talk about that.
You're
So
right.
I help facilitate important conversations, and I help them understand why it's important to talk about that stuff. And then so the dying and also the bereaved, I work with them as well. So yeah, it's a bit of a balance of the two.
Yeah. Well, that, ends up being a family affair when you're
Yes.
in that situation.
Yeah.
So as you're providing your services, I know you have some products also that can help people if they, if they're not wanting to do one-on-one or a whole, family group situation, but they need help. There's options for them too, correct?
Yes, I've got a wide variety of options because I do, as you said, I do individual one-to-one. I work with families, but I also work with groups. So if people want some anonymity and they want to be in a group with a bunch of other
Mm.
people that,
Hmm.
um, isn't connected to their family, then they have that safe space to really offload. And of course, I ask them to sign a confidentiality agreement. So, what stays in the group or what is said in the group stays in the group. So they have that safe space to really offload in a way they may not feel comfortable doing so in their family or their work colleagues or that kind of thing. I do support people in the workplace as well, through managers as well. So I've got a lot of different resources for different scenarios. So I've got a resource for the workplace. I've got a resource for people supporting those who are grieving and how to take care of yourself while you're supporting someone else, so you don't break down yourself kind of thing.
Right, right.
Um, yeah, so I've got that resource. I was thinking of you when you said that earlier.
Yep.
Um, I've got resources for the dying. I've got one for divorce and families and how to manage children after a
Hmm.
divorce. Um, yeah, so I've got a few for the dying. I've got three for the bereaved, different, the different ones that I mentioned. Um, and oh yes, and I've got one more resource, and that's the one that I'm offering this community. So may I
Well,
talk about that, or is that too
yes, you
early?
may. That was gonna be the next thing I was gonna say. It's like, oh, tell us about what you have.
Yes. So so I'm offering something that is universal, really. It's an audio visual meditation that I created. It's a unique one that I created. And anxiety, well, some people might think of it as a mental health issue, but really, we all go through anxiety at different points in our life. This is a
Yeah.
very common and natural reaction. If it gets debilitating, then we need to talk. But some people have low level anxiety and they just need a little bit of help getting over certain periods in their life. And so this resource is there to soothe people. Um, I came off a call just before this where people were commenting on my soothing voice um, and yes, I use that. I use my skill of having a soothing voice and that's been years of spiritual practices to be able to develop into that space and energy, right? To be able to soothe people. So this audio meditation people can listen to. It's 10 minutes and they can listen to over and over again. And it walks them through relaxing their body and relaxing their mind because anxiety is a natural reaction that comes out of trauma, grief, loss of any kind. So it's all interconnected. But the fundamental baseline is this anxiety of like, oh my God, what if I don't know how to handle X in the future? Or what if I can't cope with another death? How am I going to handle that? So anxiety comes into that. With trauma, again, anxiety. I may not know how to handle another trauma or another unwanted experience in the future, and
Right.
then their
Right.
anxiety is triggered and panic attacks. They're all kind of related. And so anxieties are really that meditation is a really important, you could say, tool to have in your toolbox for everyday life, because life happens, ups and downs happen, and we all go into anxiety. It doesn't mean you're having a mental breakdown or anything. It's just a natural response of, oh my God, I'm feeling vulnerable right now, and I don't know if I have the strength to cope with what's going on or what's about to come. So yeah, it's really good to practice um, uh, that skill of being able to relax ourselves. And so I offer my meditation to teach you how to self-soothe and relax yourself.
And so and I believe what you had told me too, it's the audio, and there's also a visual component to it also.
That's right. That's right. So with each segment, there's a change in scenery. So it's all different, beautiful landscape scenery in there. Uh, and so each little section will move and offer a different natural landscape. And that's an important part of working with trauma, grounding yourself, staying connected to yourself. That sense of being in nature, even if you can't go out, at least if you can see nature,
Yeah.
it will help calm you down. And that's why I was very mindful of putting nature scenes in this meditation, just as a tool for those that can't get out, or don't have the time, or for whatever reason they can't get out. I'm bringing nature to you because it's such an important calming tool. Um, yeah.
Awesome. So for everybody that's, wherever you're watching this video, if you're watching it on YouTube, the link to her gift will be in the description below. So just, go down there and check it out. If you're listening to this inside the event, obviously the link will be right there also. So, definitely take advantage of this, because this is like you had said, I mean, it's one of the tools that everybody needs. Everybody should have
Yeah.
this in their back pocket, on their phone, on their playlist. So if somebody wants
And
to reach out to you and, you know, learn more or connect with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
yeah, I'd say that, well, there's a contact form on my website, and
Mhm.
that's really the best way to reach out and send me a quick email. There is a phone number as well on the website you could call, but if you want to use that contact form, it's griefsupport.co/contact. So
Awesome.
griefsupport.co/contact.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for chatting with me today and kind of sharing what you do, because that's we all need that at some point in our life, guaranteed. So it's it's good to
Yeah.
know that there are people that are there to help with that.
And one more thing I want to just add so people really understand that um, the reason why it's important to have this, to be able to learn how to self-soothe and meditate
Mhm.
and calm ourselves down and calm our nervous system down, is because it helps us to gain clarity to make good decisions.
Yeah.
And right now, there's a lot of confusion going on, lack of clarity and confusion, that we really want to meditate in order to get in touch with ourselves, get in touch with our intuition, to really get in touch with what our inner voice is saying, to have that clarity to make the best decisions we can make for ourselves and for others. Yeah.
So true. So true.
Mm. Thank you, Sherry.
Wonderful parting words. So definitely get the gift. And thank you for being on the call. And we will
Thank you.
see you all in the next one. Bye.